What's up, survivors? Welcome to D180, the horror podcast taking you on a ride. And, it's the week after Valentine's Day. And let me tell you, this episode is definitely about to take all the love right along with it. Because, child, we're talking 2014's Honeymoon. And I'm going to chat with y'all a little bit before our host, Janae, gathers her thoughts because she got some thoughts. I do too, but here at the park, we need your help keeping the operation running. So we love you all to leave us a little review on whatever platform you listen to us on. So, we can show up on other people's feeds. More people can listen to us. And you know how this works, all that good stuff. But anyway, Janae.
Yes.
I tried to stall as much as I could in the beginning for you because,
I'm so sorry in advance.
Okay. You can't really say that because some people
Probably liked it.
Yeah.
However, I did not.
And that's perfectly fine because, like I said, it ain't all sunshines and rainbows at the park. Like, some days we're going to have to take a rain day pass. Like, and this might be one of them.
Child. All right. So today we're talking about 2014's Honeymoon. And I couldn't even tell you how I found this ride. I just know that I found it. It was in the park. So I just got on it. Like it was in the area. So it was in the area.
I never heard of this one. Actually, I'm not even in passing, to be honest. I do recall you saying that, obviously this was part of your research for curating your half of the list. So I'm thinking, maybe this is a movie that I must have missed from, the early 2000s, a la Valentine. Until you told me last week, you was like, no, this is 2014. Because remember, I was like, is this a remake? Like, what is this? And he was like, no. This is that.
Whole time, it basically is a remake.
I wouldn't say remake. I would say it's inspired. I would say inspired. And that's why you can say that because, it just didn't hit the mark. Or your mark. So, yeah. Pluto TV, since like I had that conversation with you, Pluto TV actually had been airing the movie. So I had turned the TV on and I seen a glimpse of it, but the volume was off. So I have no context to what's going on. And the part I saw, and this is no spoiler yet, the part I saw gave me a completely different idea for the vibe of the movie. So I came in on the
What part did you see?
So I came in when she was tied up to the bed. And then I didn't know this. I didn't know this yet. Like, I literally only saw the part where he's, like, touching her and, like, kind of coming up her body. I'm trying to say little without saying too much because, it's kind of like our spoiler-free part. But I came in on that part. So this is no context. Like I said, the volume was on mute.
It probably looked creepy as hell to you.
Exactly. And I've had this theory. As you know, like I just did this video on YouTube talking about Valentine, and I kind of noticed a trend in the movies we picked out. So I was like, okay, before I bring it up, I'm gonna wait to see how Honeymoon goes. And it definitely threw my little theory out the window, but I'm gonna save that for our next episode. But anyway, yes, it definitely made me think something else, and I'm gonna bring that up later too. So anyway, go ahead with your info, girl, because I'm just ready because I have plenty of reservations about this. So,
girl, I hated it, but anyway, this movie was directed by
and
Leigh
that's our
Janiak.
show, guys. We'll see you guys next week when we talk about. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Yo, that would be some shit if we really did that.
Okay, they'd be like, wait a minute. They'd be like, you didn't even let the guy with the deep voice talk. No games, nothing.
So, Honeymoon was directed by Leigh Janiak. It
Mhm.
was produced by Patrick Baker and SMA Howard, and it was written by Lee as well and Phil Graziadei.
Yes, we're sorry. We're not trying to butcher names. We really try, but we're sorry.
Sorry. Um, the movie stars Rose Leslie as B, Harry Treadaway as Paul, and then you have Ben Huber as Will and Hannah Brown as Annie. This is one of the
Mhm.
movies where it literally only has like 2 to 4 characters.
And I hold on to that because yeah, go ahead. Do you recognize Rose Leslie from anywhere?
So I know she's from Game of Thrones, but I did not watch Game of
Me
Thrones.
neither. Okay,
So
I was just curious because I guess we're a part of that small percentage of people that have never seen an episode.
yeah, it just
Yeah.
didn't.
Mm-mm. No, no shade at all. I'm pretty sure it has nice gowns, but you know.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I'm
So
done. I'm done. Go ahead.
this movie had a debut at South by Southwest
Mm-hmm.
in March of 2014,
Right.
and then it hit theaters September of 2014. Um, this is a very, very, very low budget movie.
Good girl.
Very.
I saw. And it's
Whew.
and once again, like I said, like we that's not sometimes they make it do what
Sometimes
they
low budget
do.
movies can be good.
Exactly. And other times they could be something else. I won't even say bad because it's just something else. It's something else.
Yeah. So after I watched the movie, I did look at some interviews that the writer slash director did, as well as the two main characters.
Oh,
Um,
same.
crazy thing,
Mm-hmm.
I was blown away. I did not know that both of them were British.
Yes, their accents are amazing.
So that threw me all the way off. But it
Mm-hmm.
kind of makes sense because I did not like Rose's voice in this movie. Her voice really bothered me.
Oh,
But when she spoke in her native tongue,
it made sense.
yes, because I
Okay.
was like, okay, she sounds normal now that
Mm-hmm.
she's talking normally. But when she tried to talk like an American, it really bothered me.
Her American accent almost reminded me of
Emma Stone.
slightly. What is Homegirl's name from The Dark and Wicked? We just reviewed the movie, but that main character, it almost like kind of like really her character, like a tomboy, kind of raspy voice, you know?
Yeah, I did not
Yeah,
like it.
I'm not saying it was 100 because sometimes, to be very fair, I find that people who aren't from America can impersonate us very well.
Yeah, like have you ever watched All American?
I haven't. Girl, you know I
So
don't
the
be
main
watching TV.
character, eh,
Sometimes
it's
it depends. It be old TV, you know me. Or just
this
like
season fresh
today.
though, but
Today, I just discovered The Masked Dancer today.
yeah, I haven't gotten back to that.
Yeah, like, girl, how are you
But
watching nothing?
the main character of All American, I didn't know of him before that show, and he has a perfect American accent, but he's British. So he showed up on the reel, I think,
Mm-hmm.
for an interview, and he
Mm-hmm.
started talking, and I was confused.
Or like Idris.
That
Like
too.
when you watch him in The Wire, and especially now that I live in the area where it was filmed, I'm just like, every time I hear this man, I'm just like, wow, that's really not his accent. Like he's good at this. But yeah, I know. I don't know. I think I brought that up to say that sometimes I don't even notice it. So I guess it just, it flew over my head. But I can see where you're coming from, not liking her tone.
So, leaving off of talking about this lady's accent. So I definitely briefly touched on the fact that this movie was very low budget.
Mm-hmm.
And the crazy thing about it was when I looked at the interview that the director did, she
Mm-hmm.
said that she was really going to make the movie regardless of what the budget was.
Yeah, I saw
And
that they started like 4 years before they actually, well, 4 years before the movie came out, which I mean is kind of typical, but normally it's less than that unless it's like animated or something.
yeah, she said her whole premise is that she loves movies, not
Mm-hmm.
scripts. Well, making movies and not scripts. And this was
Mm-hmm.
actually her directorial debut.
It shows. Look, okay, look, and I know it's Women in Horror Month, and we supposed to be a little more kumbaya than usual, but sometimes constructive criticism is needed. And I'm not dragging. I'm not. I promise you, I'm not. Everything will make sense once we get through the movie. She got
So,
me. She got me stuttering on my words. Like, geez.
so initially, I I remember at the beginning I said that I felt like it was a low budget Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Mm-hmm. Basically.
Basically, she confirmed that in her interview as well.
Yeah.
She
I mean,
said
which
that it was her goal to remake a version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Which I mean,
And
like Jordan Peele did the same thing with Us. So it's like that's not my problem with the movie. I'll get there. I'll get there. And I don't know if that's what I
girl,
don't know if that's what you're saying is part of your problem with the
no,
movie. That's not my problem. So I'm cool with people taking inspiration from other movies because Jordan Peele did this with Us. So, or there's thousands of movies that's inspired by this. But this is my thing. If you're going to do it, I'm going to need you to do it. But also, that ain't even it either. I'll wait. Go ahead.
all right. Well, with that being said, let's go to the Q line because this game
Girl,
is
this is the
lighthearted.
shortest intro. This intro is probably 60% of us sniggling and giggling. All right, come on, let's go. I'm not going to hold you up. Let's go to the Q line. Let's
All
bounce.
right.
Howdy, survivors. Please keep your tips and limbs inside the vehicle and remain seated at all times. Hang on to your personal belongings, especially your minds and spines. 'Cause this here's a doozy.
Okay, so because the name of this movie is Honeymoon,
Uh-oh.
we're going to pick, it's a quiz, to reveal our dream honeymoon destination. Well, actually, your dream honeymoon destination because I already know mine.
Oh, okay. Well, and okay, well, let's just issue a warning, guys. I was born October 1st, so I am a Libra. Therefore, me and decisions. So, get ready.
Oh, God. Okay, so pick your favorite climate. Desert, urban, beach, mountains, jungle, lake. And it's funny that lake is in here because that's very fitting for this movie.
I know, right? Dang, I was cool when you said beach until you said jungle, but I'm gonna go at the beach.
All right. Pick somewhere to stay. An ultra-modern hotel, a rustic farmhouse, overwater bungalow, bohemian treehouse, safari lodge, boutique hotel.
It's definitely the modern hotel, definitely, no question. I zoned out after you said that because I was like, oh no, that's it. I listened for a few more, but I was like, no, that's it. Modern. As soon as you said that, that was out the door.
Okay. Pick a breakfast in bed. English breakfast, blueberry pancakes, French toast, chia pudding, avocado toast, or eggs Benedict.
Oh, I'm gonna have to do the avocado toast. It's so good.
Girl, I love me some avocado toast.
Me too. It's just, and then when you got everything but the bagel seasoning, oh girl, yes.
Oh my God. Okay. Pick something to do. Wine tasting, spa day, surfing, hiking, road tripping, or picnicking.
Oh, dang. Dang, cuz that would be so much fun. I mean, obviously, like with my boyfriend, he's fun, but dang. What was the first one? Wine tasting? That's a
Yeah.
vibe. I think it would have to be road tripping because that's just gonna be in an event. Okay, all around.
I love road trips.
It's a lot of things you could do.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Pick a cocktail or drink. So we have Aperol Spritz, Pina Colada, Sangria, Lavender Lemonade, Fruit Smoothie, or Michelada. Michelada? I don't know what that is.
I almost want the lavender lemonade because I know that's good. Can you repeat the
It
first
smells good
two?
too.
Yes, I know. I've had it before. That's why I was like, I might go for that. But can you repeat the first two so I can be fair?
Aperol Spritz and then a Pina Colada.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely the lavender lemonade. This is the most decisive I've been. I'm going to just say that. Okay?
Okay, pick something for dinner. Lobster,
Shit.
sushi, steak, noshi, pad thai, eggplant parmesan.
Girl, you know I'm going to need you to run that back because my mind started going. I was like, oh, damn, which one? Which one? This is the question.
Lobster,
Mm-hmm.
sushi,
Mm-hmm.
steak, noshi, pad thai, eggplant parmesan.
Dang, eggplant parmesan is good.
It is.
I'm going with the lobster. Let me just be real.
I mean, it's your honeymoon.
Yeah, I tried.
Live it up.
I tried. I'm going with the lobster.
Okay, finally, choose something sweet. Oreo cheesecake, cinnamon sugar donuts, gelato, cheese plate, chocolate souffle, or key lime pie.
I'm definitely going for that first one. I forgot what it was, but I know I liked it.
Oreo cheesecake?
Yes.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
So you got Marrakech, Morocco.
Ooh.
With its serpentine souks filled with the smells of spices, French-influenced boulevards, and impeccably decorated riads, Marrakech is a vacation for the senses. Once you've thoroughly explored the city, take a road trip to the Sahara Desert, the beaches of Essaouira, probably said that wrong, or the blue-walled city of Chefchaouen, probably said that wrong too. But hey,
hey, no, that sounds right. Because it sounds like beach, but it's giving nightlife, it's giving daytime adventure, and that's what I need. So I don't need none of what we about to talk about, though. What did you get?
I didn't take it because I already know where I want to go for my honeymoon.
Oh, you said I don't need no quiz, honey. Well,
I know where I'm going.
I wish we could stall, but we got to get on this ride. I think we're next up. So buckle up, y'all, because when we return, we will be talking about 2014's Honeymoon.
So we didn't get a regular wedding cake. We decided on something that was special for us instead.
I love you, honeybee.
So this is the famous family cottage.
Do you like it?
Here's what I see. The woods. A lake. No one around. B? This isn't funny. B? Please! B! You okay? I couldn't find you.
Must be sleepwalking. I'm fine.
How's my little zombie face this morning?
I made a coffee. I could be human.
What's going on with you? You feel distant, different. Did something happen in the woods?
Come with some defense.
What's this?
They're mosquito bites.
They don't look like bug bites.
You're acting crazy.
1,
You should leave.
You're not safe.
What's going on? We need to leave.
You can't.
Where did you put the keys? Where are the keys? Who's out there?
Who's shining the light?
I want to protect you.
Where's my wife?
You look like her, but you're not her.
Talk to me! Tell me what's going on! Anyone tell me what's going on!
Something bad happened to me. Something bad happened to me in the woods.
The movie starts out with a recording of Bea and Paul on their wedding day explaining their first date. Well, okay, so Paul's individually explaining his their first date. And then Bea is explaining how he proposed. And, you know, it's cutting back and forth between the two, but it's also cutting back and forth between scenes of a car driving to God knows where.
Mm-hmm.
And so the car is actually decorated with those hideous cans that you always see attached to the back of the car in movies when someone gets married.
I'm just like,
So,
why?
And the car was a beat up freaking car too. Car
And
was beat up, and you got these old cans on it.
I
Like,
almost cared enough to look that up because I know that we probably were taught what the cans mean. I mean, obviously, we know what they mean, but I just want to know, like, you know how stuff be having a deeper meaning and we be finding out stuff is like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never cared.
I don't either. And that's why I didn't look it up either. I almost looked because I just wanted to be like, give myself something to talk about, but whatever. Anyway, they pull up.
All right, so they pull up to the cabin. You find out that this is where they're spending their honeymoon. Mm-hmm. It's a rustic cabin in the woods. It overlooks a lake, and it belongs to Bea's family. And by this time, they're in Canada. So they're originally from New York. They drove up to Canada for their honeymoon.
Which isn't far at all.
Yeah, it's not far.
At all. But my thing is, like, I'm not trying to be that person, but I'm not trying to spend my honeymoon in a family anything.
Girl, and then it's an old ass cabin. There's no cell service out there. You got an old TV. You got an old oven. The lights is flickering. You got a box TV with a VCR. Like
perfect horror movie setting.
It's terrible.
And even when they first get out and she goes, you know, it's not fancy, but what do you think? And this, okay, y'all know how I do. I try to hold all my stuff to the very end when I spew my thoughts, but, you know, we just doing what it do here today on this ride. This ride don't have no restraints. And Paul goes, here's what I see, not the city, the woods, and just talks about how isolated they are. So, you know, I'm starting to get these little seeds, basically, like I said, based off of that little clip I saw. I'm like, okay, I think I see where this is going to go. But anyway, they go on this grand tour around the house, and it's pretty comical.
They're corny as shit.
It is. And I know some people, I asked a few people, had they heard about this movie, how they felt about it. And I personally, to an extent, liked their acting here. Because I could see myself being this goofy with my boyfriend. Just like when you're in your own element and nobody else is watching you and you're just kind of doing your own little quirks. I won't say this lasts throughout the whole movie, but this part is cute.
Yeah. I mean, I guess. They was just really corny to me.
I mean, you know, they're in that, you got to think this is honeymoon. That so movie, this is
honeymoon
like, we going to make you just overly sick because we're just like in love. You know, we ain't got that level yet. So, you know.
Ooh, child. I think I bypassed that whole love phase. We're at the point where we're sitting in the bathroom while we both poop and
Miss Janae, I almost put you out because no, you didn't. And you know what? F it. I'm going to do it. No, because you was up at 3 a.m. writing love notes and making heart formations. Girl, you better not ever. I'm not the lovey-dovey stage. Girl. You and
I mean, like, lovey-dovey.
I'm teasing.
I mean, like the lovey-dovey that they express in the movie. We're more
Yeah.
so like,
Yes.
I'm gonna sit on the floor in the bathroom and talk to you while you're shitting, and then he's like, I'm shitting, and he's standing in the doorway recording me, not closing the door, being a nuisance, trying to make me play with the dog. Like, it's more like,
That's comfort.
yeah, it's more comfort than that lovey-dovey. Oh my god, I love you so much. Oh my god, let's fuck everywhere. Girl, no.
Because that's
It was
really
making me
all it
sick.
is.
They were making me sick. So basically, this whole beginning of the movie, like these first moments of them being in the house, like she's trying to give a tour, he's trying to take her clothes off. Like they spend most of the time in the cabin having sex, exploring the area, just that lovey-dovey, oh my God, we're just spending time together type situation.
Yeah.
They go fishing and she makes fun of him because he puts on what is that? A life vest that's like way too small, probably for a child.
Yeah.
Then
Before you get any further though, I do want to point some things out because okay. So you know me, when we do the podcast, I usually, depending on the movie, I watch it more than once. So when
I
I
can watch this
watched
more than
it,
once.
so when I watched it the first time, I do have to admit there was a lot going on. But I was like, let me watch it again. And there were a lot of things that I picked up on. I picked up on them the very first time, but I just think because honestly, I was distracted with personal things the first time I watched it. I wasn't really paying attention, if that makes sense. So whilst they're going on the tour, and this is also another seed we're seeing. Oh, it's not a seed. John, they hit it right on the nose. They're in that newlywed phase where they're just trying to fuck everywhere, and Paul is definitely on that. So it's a part where he's like trying to take her shirt off, and B says change is good, and the light starts flickering. So that happens. Then after, post sex, they're looking at this corner and there's some hollow ducks up there. And Paul's like, what is that? And B's like, they're fake and hollow ducks. They're empty on the inside. And I used to hide things in them when I was little. So you get that little thing too.
That's true.
Yeah.
But
so
then also there was also little clues to tell you, a spoiler alert, like,
oh, girl, we in a
spoiler
spoiler territory. I forgot to do my little
Yeah.
announcement, and I said I was going to do it, but y'all know once that trailer play, it's free game. That's it. So go ahead.
Yeah,
man.
so it's like thoroughly explaining in the beginning of the movie, their first date, their wedding day was for a reason. When they get on the boat, making sure to really showcase that the water is cold, that's for a reason. Now, one of the things, even though I said they were corny, he actually missed a golden opportunity. So she actually asked him, had he killed anything with his bare hands before?
Wait. That's way ahead. Wait. Go back, because there's some other stuff I want to talk about before that. Wait.
Okay, go
rewind.
ahead.
Okay, rewind. I got you. So before all of this happens, after the little hollow duck comment, that night, this is the first night that they stay there. There's a light that shines in the window. And think of, okay, so this is 2014. So at this point, we done seen Paranormal Activity. And think about when something would happen in a room and the room would make that sound wave noise. It's a
So
weird...
basically, think of like those old movies where there's an alien invasion and someone gets abducted, and that light beam comes down and it's like woo, and that's basically the noise that was being made when the light shined in the window.
Right.
And so instantly I was like, oh, these aliens.
This movie has a lot of Chekhov's something. And if you guys don't know what that is, it's a writer that basically made a rule saying you can't write a story and when it gets to the end and you wrote yourself in a corner, you just give yourself a way out. Like there has to be a reason, say the little girl is walking to the store and she trips over a brick and she gets to the store on her way back. somebody attacks her, and that same brick she tripped over, she uses it to bash him in the head. So that's Chekhov's brick, because we saw it earlier. We know she tripped over it. The camera probably looked at it for a while, and boom. Because it's a lot of moments like that. A few in particular between this part that we're in right now is when she takes one of the hollow ducks and gives it to Paul, and it's a note in it, and has Paul read the note, but B's reading everything that's on the note. But obviously we know this is something from her childhood, so she probably just remembers it. But obviously hold on to that, because that's the Chekhov's item. Another one that happens right around here. Oh, the rope. And it gets...
Oh yeah, he checked off the rope. But the rope was, she said something, and then he was like, "Oh, you're a naughty girl."
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because he was like, "Are you hungry?" And then she was like, "I'm actually pretty full. My man just had sex in the shower."
Mm-hmm.
And so he was like, he picked up the rope and was like, "Oh, you naughty girl." He starts to like fake tie her up. Mm-hmm. But what I was gonna say was that he had missed a golden opportunity, because this happened after he missed his golden opportunity. So she was asking, "Okay, have you ever killed something with your bare hands?" And he was like, "No." And then she was talking about like she killed frogs or whatever. But I'm like, dude, you could have just said you killed the pussy. Like, that was a golden opportunity that you missed. That's corny.
I was even thinking, okay, in the following scene, like Johnny says, we get Chekhov's rope. They've been fishing. We learn after 12 years of Girl Scout, she can tie knots. So obviously Chekhov's not. What was I about to say?
She wants to go swimming, but he doesn't. She sticks her hand in the water's cold, and then he sticks his hand in the water and the water's cold.
Mm-hmm. And they, even at this part, they established that they're alone by themselves. Like, no one else is here, even though we find out that's pseudo false later, but basically no one is there. So going back to the conversation they were having earlier, like when they were making the breakfast or whatever, and he said something about resting her wound. Like you said, that could have been a better comeback. I understand why it was there, but it's just like, this is literally me in my little spaceship, so be forewarned. You know how when people get married, or women in general, when we get married, when we go through different phases in life, we like lose a form of identity. Like when you get married, you take your husband's last name. Normally when you're with your husband, people's like, "Where's the missus?" Like, you like kind of lose yourself. And even, not all people, not all, but on some type of level, when you have kids, even, you know, you're like here for them and everybody else now. So I was trying to figure out, was there some type of underlying subtext there in that whole conversation?
I get what you're saying.
It's like, I see it, but also I don't know if I'm just trying to see something that's probably not even there. But anyway, go ahead.
I thought she was going to be pregnant with an alien, but that wasn't even the case.
Oh, kind of.
One of the days, they visit a small restaurant that should be open, but it looks closed. The owner, who actually think he's the owner at the time, he's seen acting weird and is insisting that the restaurant is closed while throwing a mini tantrum like he broke a daggone lamp. Mm-hmm. The couple decides to leave, but when they're leaving, the owner realizes that he knows B. He calls her Trixie. Mm-hmm. And then she was hella confused, but it turns out that it's Will, her childhood friend, that she had a summer fling with. Mm-hmm. He mentions he's married now. She mentions she's married. He's like, "Yo, the restaurant is actually my wife's restaurant." This is when his wife interrupts, looking
Annie.
creepy as hell. Mm-hmm. Yes, Annie's saying that they need to get away. She looks seriously pale and ill. And then Will death grips her arm, tells her to basically chill out. Then he's like, "Okay, I can scrounge for some food and we can eat like old times." And B and Paul are like, "Nah."
Yeah, this whole little encounter, and this is more of, like I said, into my theory I'll share later that goes nowhere, but I'm about to call them by their real names. This encounter between B, Paul, and Will is very awkward, and this is another relatable moment, because it's like, that's happened before. Not just
And I
saying
was
just
just
to me,
like,
but that's happened before.
that
Like,
just had to be the most awkward conversation for her husband to sit through, because he's sitting there
mm-hmm.
flirting with her,
And you
and it
can
was
tell that
even
they're
uncomfortable
both
for me
just
to watch.
like, yeah, because they're both just staring at each other like, dang, I haven't seen you since. But you see is something, there's something there. Obviously, this goes nowhere, but still. And even then, because later on that night, she's still thinking about it. And even,
Yes, when
now,
she
this
was laying
scene,
in the bed thinking about their interaction.
for me, this was super unrealistic because I'm just saying, I don't know nobody that's about to sit there and pillow talk about a whole nother man. And especially the way they did
Well,
it. Like, I know some people are comfortable and they can joke around like this.
that's me and my boyfriend.
Well, see, there we go. Like I said, I know some people can joke around like this, but I don't know. Like, I can crack little jokes, me and mine. We could crack little jokes, but it's a limit.
We don't have a limit. Yeah, we don't have a limit. And I don't really want to talk about that on the podcast, but
You ain't got to. I just said what I said. It's a limit.
So that's why it didn't really bother me a little bit. The only part that bothered me was she was about to start saying his 13-year-old body. Now that's when I was kind of like,
and that's what I meant. That's what I meant by there's a limit. Like, it's a limit. Like, this is.
so like I get it. Like, you're in the bed pillow talking about like your ex and stuff like that. I do that, but like when it went that route, that was a little weird. So
Well, she
like
I want to point something out here. She is, while she's borderline defending Will, Paul is like reassuring her, like, I'm not like him, you're not like her, and we aren't like them. So once again, it's like I'm pointing these things out because I have to defend my point later. So continue, please.
yeah, like she said, they're laying in bed, they're talking, blah, 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 blah. He starts acting jealous a little bit, but whatever. So while they're sleeping, all the lights in the house flicker. I don't know how they wake up from the lights turning on. It's dark as heck, and all of a sudden the lights cut on. I would have woke up. But once this happens, Paul's alarm goes off. So it seems like he was planning to go fishing at dawn, but when he stumbled outside, he realizes that it's actually the middle of the night and it's pitch black out. Right. So he goes back in the house, realizes the power probably went out. He's telling B about it, but he's realizing she's nowhere to be found in the house. Right. So he goes out into the woods to find her. He ends up finding her naked and disoriented. He scoops her up, carries her back into the cabin where she claims she was sleepwalking due to stress.
Well, first of all, I'm going to save it. Because, no. Yeah. The next morning.
So I'm just going to basically sum up the next couple of days.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so over the next few days, you're basically seeing B deteriorate and their relationship deteriorate right along with it. She just forgets how to do several basic tasks. Like the next morning, for example, she's up before he's up, and she's like, oh, I'm just making French toast. He starts kissing her, but then he smells that the toast is burning. Come to find out, she didn't even put the toast in the batter to batter it. It was completely dry on the griddle. Then she's like, I didn't forget. What are you talking about? And then same thing with the coffee. So now he starts to batter the French toast for her, turns around to go get coffee. And she's like, oh yeah, I made coffee. He pours the coffee. It's straight water. And then he opens it up and the coffee beans haven't been ground, none of that stuff. And so she's like, what's wrong? What? So now you're seeing that she's forgetting to do simple things. Right. Then along with forgetting to do simple things, she starts to act weird too. They go, where did they go?
I like this part when they go fishing.
Yeah, they go fishing. And
I like because he say Froggy Krueger. That cracked me up. Froggy Krueger took me out.
They go fishing and they're both paddling or whatever. She's looking into the water like a creep. He catches the frog and she's like, why did you do that? And then he starts making fun of her and was like, you don't want to kill it? It probably just...
basically, you can see that he's the type of guy that actually pays attention to his girlfriend or to his significant other. Like, he knows her clips and things. He's trying to do things to make her laugh.
all the things that he would normally do, but she's
Right.
not reacting to it.
Yeah.
And then she even like was like, I don't know. He started to ask her what's wrong or whatever, and then she was like, "Let's go swimming," and she just jumps in the water. And
Mm-hmm.
he just looks at her like he's crazy. She was like, "Why?" He
Yeah.
was like, "Why would you do that? You knew that the water was cold."
Mm-hmm. And she repeats him like, because earlier when he made the wound comment, she's like, well, why would you say that? And he was like, I thought it'd be funny. She tries to do the same thing. And it's, okay, keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
So later on, I, throughout all this, he's trying to convince her to go to the doctor, trying to say something's wrong with you. What the heck is wrong with you? What's going on? Just talk to me. What happened in the woods? And she's just not saying anything.
Mm-hmm.
He actually catches her in the bathroom, in the mirror, practicing future conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And the conversation she was actually practicing was her excuse for not wanting to have sex with him.
Mm-hmm.
And she was struggling to remember common words.
Just like you said, he's trying to convince her to go to the doctor. This is because he notices these marks on her in her thighs. And she's like, they mosquito bites, like, stop tripping, whatever. I'm going to go take a sleep. And he's like, what? You gonna do what? And she's like, take a nap. As you said, this is contributing to more weirdness. Like, why is she high or something? Like, what's going on? While she's asleep, Paul tries to get another look at it. And I don't know about you. Actually, no, I'm lying. I'm a deep sleeper sometimes. It just depends on how tired I am. I probably wouldn't have moved either. Either way, he goes back out to the area where he found B that night. And he's searching the area and he just happens to spot her honeymoon gown. When he picks it up, he notices that it's ripped up and then it also has like some type of goo on it. So in his head, he's like, okay, I think I know what happened.
Yeah, because he also finds a footprint next to the log where he found the nightgown.
Right.
And it's a very large footprint, like it's larger than his.
Right, and it's not his. It's not B's, so.
Right. So now he's pissed off. So
right.
I think this is where he goes in. Yes. So now this is where he goes inside and he observes her practicing future conversations. So he comes back in. The wedding tape is playing. He sees that the wedding tape is playing. He goes to find her. She's in the bathroom in the mirror practicing future conversations.
I like how the tension where we don't know when the hell he left from when she turned around to leave. Because by the time we see him again, he's like doing something else. But you know, like when you sneak in trying to do something and act like you've been doing it for a minute, you still be breathing kind of hard. But he was.
Yeah. Later on that night, they're playing Yahtzee. And while they're playing Yahtzee, I don't know. I guess they decide to have sex again. And he tries to have sex with her or she tries to have sex with him. But like once he starts going into her pants, she's like, you're going to hate me. I have a headache and I try to take Tylenol for it, yada, yada, yada. Basically the same lie that he caught her practicing in the bathroom. He flips it on her. He basically catches her in the lie a little bit, trying to figure out like, well, but where's your nightgown? Go put on your nightgown. And she's like, I lost it. Well, not lost it, but she said that she put it in her laundry because it's dirty or whatever. And she was
I'm trying to figure out, did you purposely skip this part because it triggered you? Or you just going to excuse the whole marshmallow scene?
But what was the purpose of the marshmallow scene? It didn't seem relevant.
It comes back later. So this is Chekhov's scene. This movie is just Chekhov. So I was wondering, is it because you don't like marshmallows that you probably didn't pick up on this? But normally when you roast marshmallows, you cannot pick them up like that. She just picks it up and eats it. It's hot.
I don't.
I knew. No. I knew. No. I knew, but I was just wondering, like, when I first watched it, I was like, oh, Janae's gonna like lose her shit because she doesn't like this. Like, this is not her thing. But so as we started talking about it, and you just glossed right over it, I was like, dang, does she not like marshmallows that bad? Did she just say that scene? But no, it does play a role. But I'll point it out later.
I don't know if this is the same night though that the lights come in the window. I think this is the same night.
It's that night.
That night they're in the bed. She sleep. He's not. But you see, here's that bright beam of light again, flashing in all the windows of the house. This time, he's awake to see it, and once it flashes on him, that big cut right off.
Yeah,
So he gets off.
this was after he already was like suspicious of her, because remember, she had got up to leave out the room and he wasn't asleep, like you said. And he's like, okay,
Right, and
well,
she
where'd you
said she was
go?
going to get some water, but she didn't have any water.
Exactly. So now, yes, and just like you said, all of this happens and he's strapped up. He wasn't playing when he saw that light.
Oh yeah, he got the gun, went outside, tried to figure out where it was. Wasn't nobody
Mm-hmm.
out there. So now he's convinced that it's Paul, not Paul, but it's Will.
Mm-hmm.
So he decides to go confront him the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So the next day he goes down to the restaurant. He sees Annie outside at the restaurant. Annie's eyes are like gray at this point.
Baby.
And she's exhibiting similar behavior to B. And she also has those same identical marks on her inner thigh. Because now her B's inner thigh marks have gotten worse. It's like this red rash looking thing. And so Annie has the same thing. And so he's trying to figure out where the heck Will is. She claims that Will is hiding and warns Paul to stay away from them before she hops in the boat and goes off. And so, excuse me, after she hops in the boat and drives away, he finds Will's bloody hat floating in the water. So then he goes inside of Will and Annie's home, basically home/restaurant, and he looks at the security camera footage. And on the security camera footage, he sees a bright light, that same bright light that flashed in his window. And you see Annie like blindly leaving out the house in her nightgown to go towards the light. Then the computer like cracked out and shut off. Then he goes to the wall, and on the wall, it's a bunch of handwritten notes. Basically Annie like saying, my name's Annie, my husband is Will, I like this, I like that, I like this, I like that. Basically basic facts about her.
Which is what we saw B writing earlier.
Right. Well, yeah.
It's okay. You just went past that part. It's fine. I'll bring it up later. I said no, because I'm like, damn, she skipped a huge part. But I'm just like, I'll just bring them up later because I got points. But keep going, because I'm like, damn, she's on a roll.
Yeah, I skipped that. But basically, she was writing something like that earlier and tried to hide it from him. So when he comes back in the house, he accuses her of being someone completely different, basically confronts her about her notes being the same as Annie's, her having the same marks, whatever. They argue a little bit, and then she locks herself in the bathroom. He breaks in, and she's mutilating her vagina.
Penetrating herself with a bathroom brush.
And she's bleeding.
Profusely.
And so he stops her. Then like she's freaking out. She's like, no. He ties her to the bed and starts to interrogate her about the details of their relationship. Basically asking like the first date, how he proposed, all that stuff. And so she's getting it all the way wrong.
She can't even throughout the movie, like I said, there are things that they do that to us we just like, okay, what? But when you think about the grand scheme of things and we get to this part, we're like, oh, okay. There's a part when he goes, I love you, honeybee. And she does this little, whatever the F she does.
Okay, he says, I love you, honeybee. And she goes, and then like takes her fingers and puts it on his lips.
She does this thing and she can't even remember it. Like all of these most minuscule things that somebody that just got married 4 days ago should know.
Yeah, like he's literally
4 days.
She's tied up, and he's like, "I love you, honeybee. I love you, honeybee." And she's like, "Okay." So yeah, while she's tied up, he like is freaking out. Then he like kind of like loses it and gets a little unhinged for me. And he starts creepily kissing her up her leg. He's like, you're not my wife. Like, you look the same, but you're not her. Like, your toes are the same, your legs are the same. And he starts like kissing her up her legs,
So
her
this
bloody
is
legs.
this is the part I mentioned earlier where I came in. So to me, it was I want to hold
Rapey.
this to the end. I want to hold this to the end because obviously you can kind of see what I thought was what I thought the direction of the movie was going to be, but it's clearly not that. But even in this part, it's heartbreaking to see Paul literally question her on all of these. Like, she can't even, she's misremembering events that literally just happened. Like, he asks her, like, well, how did I propose to you? Which we all saw in the beginning how this happened. But she's recalling the night that they just did 2 days ago when they had s'mores together. She's saying that's what happened when they proposed. Well, when he proposed to her, and we're all like,
Well, okay, so no, she did retell it. What happened is what she described was his original intention of proposing to her, but that's not what happened.
she mixed those 2 days together because she was like, I remember the stars. I remember the stars. He's like, no, we were in a tent on a bed because you got
Right.
sick.
Right. Okay, she explained in the beginning of the movie that they had s'mores that night too in their apartment, and his original proposal was supposed to be camping. It was supposed to be a tent under the stars. So she's explaining it how he originally planned it instead of how it was.
I really don't know because I really think she was mixing the 2 days together.
No, she wasn't mixing to the 2 days, because that's when I was listening to the beginning of the movie, I was like, damn, that sucks. He tried to recreate it and made a tent on top of the bed. And she said, he was like, I'm sorry that this is not how I planned to propose to you. I had wanted to go camping and propose to you under the stars and blah, 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 blah. But I just had to
I remember all of what you're saying. I'm just saying, I just watched it. That's why I don't know who's right. I really don't know. I might watch it a third time because I really want to know. But continue, please, by all means.
So at this point for me, he was unhinged because of the way he was like kissing her and stuff in his eyes. He was all crying and stuff. That was just weird for me. And then he put his hand in her vagina and was like, how does it feel? And when he pulled his hand out, it was all peely and nasty and gross. And then she tells him to keep going and to get whatever it is out of her. And then he starts to pull out this large worm-like creature that looked like an umbilical cord at first. So when he was pulling it, I thought he was about to be pulling out like a sack of some shit. But no, it was like a worm-like thing. For me, this is the only part of the movie that was worth anything. Like, out of the whole movie, this scene had me cringing. This is the only part of the movie for me that was worth anything. But after he pulls that crap out of her, he freaks out, leaves the room, and then this hoe pops out behind him in the doorway. Mind you, her ass was tied up.
I mean, to be fair, he really just wrapped the rope around the bed and around the post. He didn't even, like, we know that she's been in Girl Scouts for 12 years, so she could probably get out of a knot, and that was a piss poor knot, if I do say so myself, with 2 years of Girl Scouts.
But anyway, she in the doorway explains that the night she disappeared in the woods, she saw the same lights that Paul had seen and walked to them. She encountered a group of silhouetted figures who impregnated her with the creature. She was like, I still feel them inside me, whatever. And then she claimed that she was herself, but the figures were taking away what's left of her. I think before this too, he was trying to find the car keys, or maybe after this, he's trying to find the car keys.
It was before. And you mentioned it.
Yeah, but she's like, nah, you can't leave. And then a beam of light suddenly appears, and she starts talking like, oh, we don't need you no more, or whatever. Then she steps out the light, and then he's like, what are you talking about? Trying to plead to her. And then she turns around and gets something and knocks him the hell out.
Yeah, so she, during this whole fight, she's trying to say anything to get him to calm down. At this point, it's almost pre-Get Out, Sunk in Place. she has somewhat control of her body, but not full control. So while she's trying to get him to calm down, she's also explaining to him what happened to her, but also telling him that she can't explain to him what's going on. So at this point, like Johnny said, she grabs the camera saying, let's watch home videos, blah, 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 let's watch this, and uses that same camera to knock him out after the beam worked that magic up on her.
Yeah, so he wakes up the next morning in the boat in the middle of the lake. He's tied up. And when he tries to get up and stuff, she's like, I'm protecting you. I gotta hide you where nobody can find you. She's tying him to the anchor. And she said that she has to hide him in the water because that's where they can't reach him. And so he's like, yeah, nah, like, what? That doesn't make sense. You can't hide me in the water. I'm not going to be able to breathe. But she's like, yeah, nah, I'm hiding you in the water. He tries to escape, but wasn't going to work. And she throws him overboard. So now you see her staring into the water. She's deteriorating, like peeling like crap. Her eyes are discolored, like a reptile type eyes. And just staring in the water. Then you cut to a scene of her sitting in front of the TV watching the wedding video, and then Annie comes to the door. She's deteriorated too. And then they walk through the woods into the lights to the shadowy figures that you don't see. You just see the figures, like you don't see what they are. And then that's the end of the movie.
I just let Janae go because I knew she was ready to get this done and over with.
I did not like this movie.
Obviously. Like after a while, I bet you guys could tell that I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna stop silent. I'm just gonna let her do her. Cause she flew through this movie. Like I know this is probably gonna be our shortest episode.
like
I'm sure she probably don't have nothing, no thoughts.
What I'm gonna read exactly what I wrote. This movie to me was dumb as fuck. The acting in some parts was trash. The ending was trash. I just wasn't here for it. And I guess I didn't like it because it didn't explain why things were happening. It just showed you how the characters were reacting to it. And I was just like, not here for it. But I'll give it to the husband though. He was definitely for better or for worse. He tried to hold on to his own demise, but he was right to die. And he died trying to ride.
Here are my thoughts. And I have a lot, so get ready.
Okay.
This movie is an hour and 28 minutes. So like 87 minutes, whatever. This could have been a short. This really could have been a short. And probably
it was
would
a waste
have
of time.
It probably would have done better as a short. Janae, I don't know if you are familiar with the movie VHS.
Maybe not.
No, because if you was, baby, because that movie will fuck you up. So there's a movie, VHS is a franchise, is found footage. And without giving away too much, and if you guys have seen it at home, I'm solely explaining it for those who haven't and for Janae. It's a collection of VHS tapes, and girl, some stuff be going down on these tapes. One of the tapes in particular is similar to this storyline, and I'm not going to ruin it because I want you to be able to watch it and be like, oh my gosh. But one of the tapes is very similar to what we just watched. And if I'm probably wrong, but each short in VHS is probably 15 minutes and literally gets the same point across. Other than that, it's not that this isn't scary or it doesn't explain things, because to be honest, it is pretty creepy. But it's
the only
almost
creepy part
like
for me was that whatever that creature was that he pulled up out of her.
It's very stretched. That's basically what it is. This would have sufficed as a nice little short, maybe an anthology, and boom, boom, boom. So a few things that I noticed. I do like the use of mirrors in this movie, since we are talking about body snatching, because it is questioning like, okay, well, who is this? Who am I really looking at? Because it's your reflection. A few parts that stood out to me is like they're doing the grand tour. B walks into the room and we don't see her, but then when Paul walks in, we see him through the mirror. But it looks like he's walking into a new world. It's like, maybe like, I know you said like you probably ain't gonna watch this no more. So anybody else is probably gonna watch this again. You can see that part. But then also, like I said, when B's rehearsing in the mirror, and at this point, clearly we know it's not her. It's still the whole imposter syndrome. Well, who is this? As I said before, my theory that I've been dying to tell you all, I thought that this was going to be one of those, I don't know what even to call it. I thought Paul was going to be on some shit and kill her. Like, that's what I thought was about to happen. Because
like creepy, rapey vibes. Like, I just got you to myself, now I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, that's what it was giving. I was even trying to figure out, would I have liked this movie more if the aliens, okay, so when we met Will, we were all thinking that he had done something to Annie because, you know, he snatched her up, all that good stuff. What if like the aliens were making the men crazy? And I don't know, like it's just like I don't know.
That would have been a good plot twist, but that wouldn't explain like what was going on with the women.
I mean, okay, my thing, I think since she's saying she was inspired by the body snatchers, and when B explains that the six, or not six, I just counted six people, when the dark figures impregnated her and she could still feel them inside of her, I think that they probably use women to do that. Like I think that's why they're using them, to get them pregnant and do whatever the hell. I don't know what the end goal is. Like, I guess
it's to get them pregnant and make more.
Yeah,
but then it was just like they were more. But the thing was, they were deteriorating instead of, I don't know.
Maybe that's what happens, and that's what I'm saying. Maybe like maybe this is one of. And I am not defending this movie at all because I feel the way I feel, but I am that type of person that does like a movie that'll make me think afterwards, like, well, what? Because when I first watched this, I really was just like, what the fuck was this? And what?
Maybe like more than halfway through, I was like, okay, I'm over this movie. And then like at the end, I was literally staring at my TV like, what the fuck is this? Like, and you heard my voice messages. I was.
No, she was going in on the messages. Like I said, like I guess I'll wait for the rating to really say my disposition, but it could have it's giving film school exit project. Like, I don't know, like it just needed, either it needed to be way shorter than it was, or it just needed a lot more to be what it is.
I'm sorry. I was drinking water and was over here choking at the fact that you said it's giving.
Oh, because I mean, honestly, it was like, I am really not trying to rag on this movie because I do believe there is a glimmer of something there, because it really did. Like, I was like, oh this is kind of creepy, but I was just like, but it's just not, it's almost like almost getting there. And then you don't get there. And then you're just left like,
oh my gosh.
Man, yeah, like that's exactly what it was. And just because of that, it's yeah.
All right. Let's go into the souvenir shop.
Is it anything in there?
I mean, there's like 3 posters.
It seems you survived. Well, before you go, join us in the souvenir shop.
So the first poster I see it's like a starry type of night. It's like you got your blue hues or whatever. Then you have taken up the majority of the poster. On the right hand side, you have a close up of Rose's face, and then in the background in the woods you see him as in Paul carrying be through the woods. And then at the bottom it says, has, their name, Rose Leslie and Harry Treadway, and it says Honeymoon. It's more like a sepia type of coloring for this cover. So that was the first cover that I've seen. The second one that I've seen, I can't tell if she's naked or not, but I'm just gonna say she's naked, and she has red hair, more like Ariel red. The background is dark with more blue hues, giving you like mermaid vibes. She's facing away from the poster, and it looks like she's trying to escape a bunch of branches that are pulling her down. And at the top it says Honeymoon.
I like that one because if you look at it, it's actually a hand on her back. You got to find it though. I'll post it on our new IG so you guys can find it too, but I like that one.
Now, the last one I saw was the cover art for it on Amazon, because I watched it on Amazon. And so it kind of reminds me of a thriller poster, like a action-packed movie where you got two killers who are trying to, I can't even think of the name of the movie that I'm thinking of, but it's just their two faces, like shadowy kind of, where like the light is coming in from the, is it like Scream's poster?
Is it the one with the floating heads at the top?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the floating heads, and then it just says Honeymoon. So that's the one that's the cover art for it on Amazon. So those are the only souvenirs that I saw. IMDb gave this movie a 5.7 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 76%, and then Metacritic gave it a 65%. So Ashley, what is your rating of this lovely movie?
Okay, so like I said what I said. I'm not going to repeat myself. I give this movie a 57.
Oh, you're very generous.
And it's like, I almost want to give it more. I know there are people that like this movie, but me personally, it was cool. I'm not shitting on it because I know Johnny's about to, but it was things that I just feel like could have been more, and I would have been a little more satisfied. But I mean, I understood the movie completely, and I think it's a cool little ride, but it ain't gonna be in the park next time, though. Oh no, I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying. I'm talking about for me. I'm talking about for me. I'm not saying you. I'm saying like the things that normally contribute to my rating of a movie. Like, I understand completely what's happening. I don't want people. I'm over explaining. I'm just saying that, I understand. I see what's all there, but still, I said what I said with my 57.
All right. So I had to give this the worst rating out of all the movies that I've rated so far.
I am like, really? I want to know, because the lowest rating that you have so far is The Good Son. That's your lowest.
Nuh-uh.
The Good Son was 54.
No, I think I said 50.
Oh, 50. Oh, I'm looking at my score. Ha ha. Okay, never mind. I'm looking at the wrong side.
Better Watch Out. I gave Better Watch Out a 30.
Oh, you did. It runs off my line. That's why. You're right.
I'm giving this movie a 20. Like, when I finished this movie, I was looking at my TV like, what the fuck? Well, I just wasted almost an hour and a half of my life.
87 minutes.
It just was not it for me. It just, like, I get it. And I did watch some reviews, and one girl said that she loved it because it reminded her of her and her boyfriend, and they be all like corny and stuff, and it was cute. And she was watching it over and over again.
Oh, you talking about my girl, Sarah. That's when her channel was young. I know exactly who you're talking about.
But I don't relate.
Usually what I do when we do this is I will ask other people what they think of the movie. I belong in a lot of other groups that we talk about horror all day, every day. So it was a mixed bag, and I can honestly see why. But anyway, that's going to be the end of this episode. But before we go, I just have to say a few things to you guys. So we have one more episode in our Love is in the Scare theme for the month, and that'll be Bride of Chucky. I am super excited to talk about this movie. You've seen this movie?
Yes, I've seen Bride of Chucky. Oh my gosh.
I mean, I'm just asking because I feel like it was some other movies we felt like you should have seen, but you ain't seen them. But yes,
Well,
this is
it's
one.
because Bride of Chucky has come on TV so many times. It's kind of like an MTV cult classic at this point.
Well, we could talk about that more next week, but before all of that, so make sure, please, that you guys are following us on our new social media page. We only got one. It's just IG. We ain't, at the moment, all that rah, the other stuff. Not right now. So that's D180 Podcast. And please, I would love it. We would both appreciate it if you can leave us a review on whatever platform you listen to us on. I normally hate doing all of that because I want people to be genuine and really just want to review us and do whatever they do. But at this point, we need people. Like my students would say, we need people. So it is what it is. Johnny, you got anything to say to your people before this ride is over? I guess the ride is over, but before we close this part down.
No, I don't have anything. I'll see y'all next week.
All right, y'all. This was like when you go to the park, but your mama tell y'all we just walking around. So you watching everybody else have fun. And y'all might play a few games, but that's it. You might get a small prize. That was this episode. But next week, it's gonna be a whole little vibe. So we'll see y'all next time up in the park. Bye, y'all.
Bye. Girl.